All right, in this lesson, we're going to start customizing our site using the tools in the back end of Joomla. Let's go to our control panel. There's basically two areas that you can go to in almost any template that you might be working with to make changes or to customize the look and feel of your site. Let's maybe first of all just take a look at our site the way it is right now based on the sample data that we installed and the way it was configured by the people who wrote Joomla to come as kind of a sample site that we can play around with. You'll see that it has a very specific size that only uses a portion of most of the computer screens out there today. This is one way of doing websites. It's kind of based on the idea that you don't want parts of your website spilling out over the size of some screens. But that's kind of an old idea these days because most templates are designed in such a way that no matter what size screen they appear on, it will reformat. It's called responsive type templates. But it's still kind of a throwback that a lot of people still use where it's very strictly formatted to be of safe size. You'll notice that the colors are quite bland, almost black and white. So you will probably want to try and do something to make this site look a little better. So let's go back to our main control panel and point out the two areas that you might go to try and make this site look a little better. No matter what template you're working with, these are the same two areas that you would go to try and customize the look and feel. Let's go up to extensions, and first of all, let's take a look at the template manager area, and then click on the template that is currently in use, and that would, in this case, be the Proto Star. Now, as you look at this, you'll notice that there aren't a lot of options for you to change. If we go to the Advanced tab, you'll see that there's a few options here, and we will play around with these a little bit. But just know that as you work with other templates, especially those that you might pay a little bit to license, like $40 or $50 to license the template, you will find that your options here in the template manager will be much more detailed and allow you to have a lot more options in the way that you customize your site. This template that comes free with Joomla is just kind of a very simple back-end template to just kind of give you an idea of some of the types of things that you can modify using the template manager. But just be assured that once you start working with a real template, commercial template, your options here will be a lot greater. But let's say we want to change the background color. We can go in here and we can plug in what's called a hex number to change the color. I think maybe even if we just click on this area here, we will also be given kind of a color picker that we can slide this up and down to get more options, as well as move this little center piece in. And you'll notice that as we move it around, you'll see that the color that we're selecting is being demonstrated in the little box. And so if we wanted our background color to be kind of more of a soft blue, we could maybe try something like that. And let's save that and go take a look at our website. Remember, in order to see the changes as you tab back and forth between your website and your back end, you do have to refresh the website over here to reflect the changes that you've just made. So now we see the background has turned a nice blue, but we still have a very bland looking web page itself. So let's maybe see how it will look if we were to tab back to our control panel, our template manager, and change. Well, as I look at our options here, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to change the white background of the actual web page itself. We're only given the option of changing what would kind of be considered more the highlight, or what some templates might call the accent color. If we were to tab back to our site, we'll see that this little gray area here for the menu items is probably what we're going to be changing. Let's just give that a try and let's maybe make it kind of an orange color. Let's lighten that up just a little bit, something like that. And let's test that out. We have to save it first and then go over, refresh, And yes, indeed, that's what we're changing, is kind of the accent colors. In order to change the white background here, we would probably have to get into doing some HTML in the background if we were sticking with this template, because it just doesn't seem to give us the option of changing that. But just be assured that as you work with better templates, more commercial templates, you will have the option to very easily change practically any color option in the website design. But let's notice something else that we can do here. We talked about how by default the website had come here with a very narrow design, a very defined area being used for the website to be kind of safe for all monitors. But notice that we do have the option back here in our template manager to change this to what would be called a fluid option. Let's save that and notice how that changes our website. Let's go back to our website and change that. We'll see that now it fills the whole screen, and depending on the size of the monitor, this template is going to automatically reflow. The text, you'll notice, is reflowing, and everything changes, so that if you're looking at this site now on a cell phone, it's going to look something more like that. This is what's called a responsive site. So no matter what device people may visit your site with, they are going to be able to see it filling their screen, and you'll get the most optimal use of your real estate there. And so you may want to consider changing if you're going to just work with the templates that come with Joomla, you may want to consider changing your layout to be fluid so that it is a more responsive site and fits and works better with all computer screens. Okay, let's notice one more thing that we can change here. As we look at this website, we see that it is just using the text that we entered when we installed Joomla to kind of automatically fill in this logo area with the name of our company. But if you're setting up a website, you probably have a logo for your business, or your client has a logo, and you'll want to actually use the client's logo rather than just use text or a font-based logo. So here's where we can upload the logo itself. And when we hit select, what it's going to do is open up the Media Manager tool that we looked at in a previous tutorial. And this time, using the Media Manager this way, you don't have quite the same upload options as we did when we worked with it directly, but you can still upload images. Just scroll down and you'll notice that you have the option of browsing to your hard drives of your computer. And here you can navigate to the folder where you're keeping the logo. Mine is already open there, and as I was doing some testing earlier. And here's the logo here. So we'll just click on that. And when you see the name of the file showing up here, you can start the upload. And we see it showing up now over in our directory. And so we just need to select this area by clicking on it once and then hit the insert button. And you'll see that the logo is now showing up here. And if we save and go over to our website and refresh, we'll see that our logo now shows up. Okay, so that is one area where you can make changes and customization to your website. Let's close this, or save and close. And let's take a look at the other area, still under extensions, and let's this time go and check out Module Manager. At some point we will probably do a full tutorial on the Module Manager and explain in more detail what the Module Manager does. But just to kind of give you a brief overview in this tutorial, the Module Manager basically takes the capabilities of plugins or components and allows you to take those utilities and capabilities and allows you to place those in a predefined area, or an area that you would like the elements to show up in your website. You'll notice as we look down our list of items here that they directly relate to most of the elements that we're seeing here at our website. We have a side module, we have a login form over here, we have a place where the menu items show up, we have an article that is showing up. As we go back to our Module Manager, we'll see that most of these are reflected here. For example, we see here the login form. if we were to click on this little green arrow here, we would be unpublishing that login form. And if we were to go back now to our website and refresh it, we would see our login form disappears. It's no longer there. Not only can we unpublish it or publish it again, we can also change the position of it. As we click on the login form, we could go in and place this in a completely different spot on our website. So let's go over here to position, for example, and let's take a look at our options here. You'll notice that the options for the other resident template are also showing up here. So we need to make sure that as we look down this list, we're going to choose an option that actually comes from our ProtoStar template, which is the current template we're working with. And let's say we wanted to put that login form over on the left instead of showing up on the right. Let's save this and take a look now and see where our login panel shows up, and we'll see it's now showing up over on the left-hand column. So we can see how using the module manager, you can reposition items, you can turn them on or off, you can change things. Like, for example, we want to probably put up a better image than what came with the sample data. So let's open up the image and let's replace this image with something else. Let's just delete that and go up and if you've already watched some of our previous tutorials on how to add images, you'll know how to do this. But basically, you can just migrate to an area on your computer where you might have some images that you want to use. And since this is going to be a site that talks about vivid media, we want to make sure that the most prominent image is a striking image. Let's maybe try this one here. Now, something that if you're brand new to creating websites, something you'll need to be aware of is that most cameras today take images at a much greater size than what you would ever want to upload to your website. And we'll notice here that in Windows Explorer, as we point to the image, we actually get a representation here of the actual size of this image. I've already resized this image in Photoshop, so it is currently already a more appropriate size for internet use. And so I can just go ahead and use that. But if you're just going through your folders and you're picking up an image from your camera, you'll just have to be aware that in order to work properly on websites, that those images need to be resized. And if you're not sure how to resize images, maybe check out one of our other tutorials here on how to resize images in various programs. Okay, let's just double click on that, and once you see it showing up here, we can upload it, and we see the file showing up here in a highlighted in a bold font. So let's click on that. It shows up in our URL. We should type in some alternate text for the search engines and also the blind. And in this case, we'll probably just center the image. And over here, we can see how any text that we might add to this would show up. But in this case, we're not going to be adding any text, so we can just go ahead and hit insert. And now we have our image. This might still be a little bit big, or at least it would be probably for the template the way it was before we changed it to be fluid. Now that we've changed it to be a fluid layout, this size here, the 900 pixels in width, is probably fine. Let's check it out. Let's save this and go over to our website. Let's refresh it, and we'll see that the website is automatically resizing the image. Let's just test that. Let's grab a hold of our browser here and drag it across, and you'll see that as we readjust the size of the screen, the template is automatically resizing the image as well. So again, if somebody was looking at this on a cell phone, this is how it would resize to work with that type of device. So you can see how nice it is to be able to work with a responsive template. Okay, well, that will give you at least an overview of some of the ways that you can quickly change the look and feel of your site. Let's see if there's anything else we should maybe point out. Let's maybe go to the one article that we've already created and see what that does to our site. Okay, well, the article shows up, but we probably wouldn't normally want our feature image to stay on. And the way that you can handle that or change it so that it only shows up on the front page, let's go back to our module manager. And the way that we would change it so that it only shows up on the first page of our website would be to go to menu assignment. And here, right now, we'll see that it is currently set to show on all pages. If we want it to only show on the first page, then let's click on only on the pages selected, and then we can choose which page we want that image to show up on. And in this case, we would only want it to show up on the home page. And so what we can do, let's select none so that we are unselecting all of the pages at the same time. And then we can just go and click on the home page. And that'll take care of it. Let's save this and just confirm that it works. Let's go back to our website, hit the refresh, and yes. So now it shows up on the home page, but when we go to our article, that image disappears. Notice that the logo area is also a clickable link which takes you back to the home page. That happens all automatically in the background. It's a very standard feature in most websites, but the nice thing about working with Joomla is that you didn't have to think about how to change that in HTML and write the code for the little routine or program that allows that to happen. Joomla took care of it for you. You didn't even have to think about it. When you changed this to be using your logo, Joomla assumed that you would want that to click back to your home page and did that for you. Okay, well, I think that probably does it to give you a good idea, an orientation to how you can customize your website in Joomla using Template Manager and your Module Manager.